Guys, it's unbelievable. Sometimes I wake up each morning, I'm scratching my head like, why do I have to dedicate my life to get this information out there when it is so simple? Literally, there is fat stored inside the cell. So there's this guy, Gerald Schulman at Yale, who actually did some really great research recently using some fMRI technology where you can actually see the fat inside the cells. So insulin resistance is caused by fat stored in tissues that are not designed to store fat. So fat belongs in fat tissue. You don't want excess fat in muscle and liver tissue. That's the bottom line. So you have you have a community of people, the low-fat community, telling people to eat pretty much nothing but fat. Like your diet is comprised of mostly fat, and they're telling people this is the best solution for people living with diabetes type 1 and type 2. You scratch your head like, why? How is this even possible? So here's what happens. If you eat a low carbohydrate diet properly, which is less than 30 grams of carbohydrate, that's really the best way to execute a ketogenic low carb diet. If you do that properly, you are not consuming enough carbohydrate to really challenge the whole system of taking glucose out of the bloodstream into the cells. You're not eating enough to challenge it. So this is a great example I heard from Dr. Michael Clapper. He said, so if you're living with insulin resistance, you're type 2 diabetes here, and you stop eating carbohydrates, then yes, your blood glucose can be good. You can see good blood glucose readings. And an analogy is, if you're a bad driver and you get in car crashes, and somebody takes away your driver's license, and you stop driving, okay, and then a couple months go by, you didn't drive, you didn't get in any car accidents, are you now a good driver? No, you just didn't drive. So that's what's going on when, especially people living with diabetes, when you take out the carbohydrates, you eat a super small amount, that's what's happening. They can get very good, steady blood glucose readings. People follow this diet, they can lose weight, they can get off diabetes medications, a lot of them can see great cholesterol numbers. There's a certain amount of, if you're not eating too much, basically calorie restriction of eating anything can improve your health, and that's what happens when you apply a ketogenic diet properly. So then what happens is, then we're over here telling people, the high carb, low fat crew, like, hey, no, sugar's not the problem. Don't worry, go ahead and eat fruit. So what do people do? Like, okay, you know what? I'll do it. I'll eat a couple of bananas. I'll try it. What happens? They see a high reading. They test their blood glucose and their number is through the roof. Why is their number through the roof? Anybody want to guess?
They're just eating lots of fat.
Because there's still fat stored inside the cells, so the whole system is gummed up. It's not working properly. So glucose, so the sugar in fruit is getting the blame, when really the problem is the fat stored inside the tissue. So again, insulin resistance, if you guys remember one thing from this all three of my talks, you remember one thing. Insulin resistance is the disease that's affecting most people. Again, we're talking about type 2 here, not talking about type 1. Majority of people living with diabetes are type 2. That's 95% of all people living with diabetes. The cause of type 2 diabetes and prediabetes is insulin resistance.